Smackdown 3/1/24, just 5 weeks away from WrestleMania. The cold open teaser to this review is going to be simplistic. It's a statement, and perhaps a fact. The greatest move in professional wrestling today may very well be the RKO, based on the performer that is doing that move in that ring, Randy Orton. Damn, it takes two to tango. It depends on who your dancing partner is. I totally get it. Like WrestleMania a few years ago, Sethington Rollins versus Randy Orton. Seth goes for the stomp. Orton lifts himself up. Seth goes 214 feet in the air. Slight exaggeration, comes down straight into one of the most beautiful RKOs you'll ever witness in a lifetime. Tonight, one of those scenarios, not quite to that level, but Austin Theory rolling into the ring, catapulting himself into the air and straight into a beautiful, flawless RKO. And it just reminds you every time he hits these out of nowhere, what move really comes close to that? Where it is absolute can't miss. You have to see it. You know it's going to be special. You know, there's matches that revolve around it, right? Matches where you know you have to see the finish because you know this person is going to take a rad, badass RKO. So that's why I say it takes two to tango. You have to give so much credit, too, to the performer about to take the move. But damn, Randy Orton just hits it flawless, exactly where he needs to be. And it's not easy. It's not easy to catch these dudes mid-air. Sometimes they're not where they're supposed to be, but Orton will meet them there. And he will absolutely position himself to where he hits it basically flawless. I could go on and on about it. There's a lot to get to in this review, so I'll leave the cold open teaser at that. If there's a move that captivates like the RKO, that is can't miss, that matches revolve around that finish because of that move, I don't know what that move would be. Back in the day, I guess the Stone Cold Stunner. It was always fun to see how individuals would take a stunner. Vince McMahon, for instance, the absolute worst. You may want to look away when he tried to sell a stunner. Other than that, I don't know how many moves really captivate. Like you just know it's going to be something special in and of itself, separate from the match itself. The RKO, that may be, I never put too much thought into it. You know, like what's the most badass move in pro wrestling? Because it's very subjective, right? I mean, you could ask 10 different fans, you probably get 10 different answers. But when you take that aspect out of it, just our opinions or our thoughts on it, when it comes down to like factually what move captivates more than others, man, that RKO out of nowhere. I remember a few years ago, there was memes all over the place and clips and videos of kids, even grown adults, they were RKOing their buddies out of nowhere into pools, off of trampolines, middle of the forest, middle of the highway. I don't recommend that. But there was RKOs out of nowhere, man. It's a phenomenon. Anyway, that's my cold open teaser. I mentioned that because if you saw the show tonight, you know the main event, how it ended. We'll go over it. This is the full review of the 3/1/24 Smackdown, 5 weeks from WrestleMania. How many scenarios or segments tonight had anything to do with Mania? We'll talk all about it. And we'll do it right now. The start of this show was Roman Reigns and The Rock with the Bloodline, Paul Heyman, Jimmy Uso, Solo Sikoa, all out there. First it was Roman and the Clique, Bloodline. Then The Rock came out after Paul Heyman said The Rock is coming out after this commercial break. So they really wanted They wanted this segment to lapse at least 2 segments. When it was all said and done, it actually leaked into Q4. So 3 complete segments leaking into the 4th segment. But they were going to milk this for all it's worth, right? The Rock was advertised completely sold out Glendale, Arizona. So they're like, if The Rock can sell out these arenas just like that, snap of a finger, blink of an eye, we should try to milk the rating, right? As long as The Rock is out there, we'll keep him out there for as long as we can. The rating will it'll just get bigger and bigger. And I bet you it will. I bet you those first 3 quarters, when the ratings come out, I bet you it pumps that up to a 2.5, 2.6 bare minimum. Bare minimum. So The Rock comes out after this commercial break. As I said, this was a very lengthy promo. A lot of this was The Rock repeating himself, right? A lot of this was just ripping apart at the crowd in attendance. And each time he would throw a jab at the crowd would chant Rocky. This usually happens, right? Because even if you want to boo him or you claim you don't like him, he's so phenomenal that within seconds, the crowd is like, all right, this dude's the real deal. And all of a sudden you get Rocky chants. So that was funny. Every now and again, you get a Cody chant. They would boo Roman in the Bloodline for sure. And then The Rock laid down the challenge, right? This is what we all knew was going to happen because they've already had promotional material. You've already seen all the ads, right? Sethington and Cody walking up to Roman and Rock. So you know there's a tag match. Cody laid down a challenge for a one-on-one. Seth was like, no, we're going to do this together. And then last night, actually just about an hour and a half ago from the recording of this review, about an hour and a half ago, Rock laid down the challenge of a tag team match instead. So he turned down Cody's challenge for one-on-one. He wants to do a tag match. Cody, Seth versus Rock, Roman. This is it's one of those matches where BC's not too fond of it at all because it just doesn't scream WrestleMania. It seems like a random tag match you would put at the main event of maybe SmackDown or Raw. But what I do like is The Rock laid down some substance to it, right? For instance, if Cody and Seth win this match, night 1 at WrestleMania, if they win that tag match, the Bloodline will be completely banned from ringside. So there's no way you can get the finish that you got at 39. Solo banned, Paul banned, Jimmy banned, and even The Rock is banned. But if The Rock and Roman win, then it's Bloodline rules the next night for Roman versus Cody. That could mean anything. Solo could be out there, commentary, or as Rock said, Solo can be singing the national anthem for all he cares. He will be able to do that. Solo will be out there doing whatever he wants with whatever he wants. Rock can be out there with steel chairs. Jimmy Uso can be out there. Anything goes. Bloodline rules. So I don't know how much that truly adds to this match, but at least it's some type of substance. It's not just a tag match randomly for the sake of having a tag match because plans fell through. And plans were switched up. And because of that, we get this weird tag match. Seth and Cody in a tag team for WrestleMania. Because what that's doing is it's booting Seth's championship match, right? It lessens Seth Rollins and his world title, which has already taken massive hits with The Rock, Roman, and Cody the last several weeks and even months anyway. So for Seth in that championship, I don't know how many more hits it can take. Now it's being taken off the main event scene. And would it matter? It's against Drew McIntyre. This will be the 3rd time they faced each other in as many months. They just faced each other on Monday Night Raw, January 1st. A little over a month ago. We already saw Drew and Seth. A month or 2 before that pay-per-view, Seth and Drew. We already saw it. So would it even matter if Seth and Drew is in the main event? Is that even a main event for WrestleMania? It's eye of the beholder, man. But this tag team match was issued tonight with that, all of that on the line. So this tells you The Rock is so freaking turning, man. He's turning on Roman. When is it going to happen, right? Is it going to be on that night one? So that the Bloodlines, right, The Rock and Cody were in cahoots, and The Rock was able to get the entire Bloodline banned? Or do they win this match? And The Rock and the Bloodline is allowed at ringside, but the plan is The Rock is going to make sure that he lays the Bloodline out during that match and make sure Cody wins the championship. I mean, if Rock is really in cahoots with Cody, you got to believe that night one would be the time to do it. Unless Rock wants to be right there to make sure Cody wins, then he would defeat them with Roman. I hope that makes sense. So what I'm saying, I guess when it comes down to it, there's a little bit of intrigue now into it, I guess. But at that point, then Cody would have to win the championship. Would HHH do that? Again, you gotta believe this close to Hulk Hogan's record, they're gonna go for Hulk Hogan's record. And Roman's walking out with that title. This is just set up perfectly for The Rock to turn on Roman. But could it all fall apart and somehow Roman walks away with it? Does The Rock not turn on Roman? Helps Roman get that record? I don't know. Questions. Hey, these are actually at least decent questions, right? Not so confusing as they have been in several months past. This is actually something where we kind of want to find the answers out. So I didn't mind this at all. The real best part of this whole 45-minute promo, because it was 45 minutes, 3 full segments, was the tail end when The Rock was wrapping up his promo finally, and Roman stopped him. Roman says, "I'll do anything you need, but there's one thing I need from you. Acknowledge me," he tells The Rock. The fans are like, "Oh, no, you didn't." As Booker T would say, "Tell me, you didn't just say that." So he says, "Acknowledge me" to The Rock. And The Rock says, "Roman, family, I acknowledge you, my tribal chief." Not just I acknowledge you, my tribal chief. Which again, makes you think The Rock is definitely turning on Roman. It's gotta be at Mania, right? Is it night 1 or is it night 2? With the stipulation, which works better. But I acknowledge you, my tribal chief. This immediately ignited a "you sold out" chant from the crowd. So The Rock says, "You idiots, you don't understand. This is family, La Familia. We will do anything together." So it was interesting. They all hold up the ones. Once again, The Rock extends that thumb, making it an L. Almost like he's calling them all losers. But then he closes that thumb back up and it becomes a 1 again. And that ends over 3 segments, 45 minutes plus. They're trying to pop that rating because they know ratings are going backwards. Monday Night Raw fell 150,000 viewers this week from last week. So Paul Levesque McMahon is really feeling the hurt of a confusing, random, nonsensical WrestleMania season thus far. So this was a big night having The Rock there. And The Rock is going to be there next week and the following week. Dallas next week, Memphis in 2 weeks. Cody Rhodes is supposed to be on hand both weeks, by the way. So you're going to start to see Cody and Seth face-to-face with Roman and Rock, and maybe we can start to feel this tag match a little bit more, hopefully. But, yeah, that was the whole first, second, and third segment. And then we ended hour number 1, because it was already the end of hour 1, with Tiffy time. Tiffany Stratton defeating Naomi via pinfall off the prettiest moonsault ever. Now, Stratton was heavily the favorite in this match. You know, BC speaks so highly of Stratton because she's so damn good, and she hasn't been doing this that long. So when you pick it up that quickly, and you become a star to the point where people are just cheering for you out of nowhere, doesn't matter what country, Australia was cheering for the most heavily favorited wrestler in that Elimination Chamber for the females was Tiffany Stratton. To the point where Liv Morgan was getting booed when she defeated Tiffany. Wild. And in this match, when Tiffany was wrestling and defeating Naomi, Tiffany Stratton was heavily favorited. The crowd chanting her name heavily behind Tiffany Stratton, not the face, Naomi. They were behind the heel, Tiffy Time. And I speak so highly of this female talent because she's that good. In the little amount of time she's been doing this, to pick it up that fast, to be this damn good, to get the whole aspect of a character and presence and aura and vibe. I would easily say 9 out of every 10 wrestlers don't have a clue what all of that even means. Tiffy Time's already got it. It was funny, a while back she said, I'd rather stay in NXT because I feel like I have so much more to improve on. To which BC was like, wrong. Well, BC, I think she would know better than anybody what she has to. Nope. Trust me, there's many people that need to stay in NXT. There's some that are ready to soar. Tiffany Stratton is one of them. You gotta feel bad, though. For Stratton, this is awesome. Big W. Fans continue to really get behind her. It's only a matter of time before she's gonna have to be a face almost instantaneously. You know, she's such a good heel, and you want to see what she can do right out of the gate as a heel. But they're going to have to turn her face. I mean, it's only a matter of time before her and Naomi are going to have to be in a tag team instead of facing each other. You know, having some tag team matches as faces. I say Tiffany, Naomi, shock the world, get the tag titles at WrestleMania, because who else is taking them from the Kabuki Warriors? There's nobody. There's nobody. You're going to throw 2 random people together anyway, because they've gone through everybody, guys. Chance and Carter, Fire and Dawn, Chelsea and Piper, but Piper's on the shelf anyway. Mia Yim and whoever she was with, I don't even know. Candice LeRae, Indy Hartwell, Natty, and Tegan Knox. You can go down the line. The point is they've taken everybody out. HHH has already thrown everybody in there with them. They've beat them all. So if Tiffany has to be a face anyway, you're feeling bad for Naomi for putting her in this position. I mean, she was getting booed. And then she's flat on her back looking up at the lights. That's not what Naomi should have came back to. Naomi deserves much more than that, much better than that. Should she be beating Tiffy Time? No. So don't put her in there. But it's only a matter of time before she's going to be a face with Naomi and Bianca Belair and so many others. Wild, man. Wild. 2 of some of my favorites in that ring one-on-one, and I didn't want either one to lose, but I knew Tiffy Time couldn't. But Naomi was not that far off either. I mean, to even think of Naomi, who just came back at the Rumble, losing in the middle of SmackDown to this brand new superstar with her only 4th match on the main roster. Man, for Naomi, that's a hit. Again, put them together, go for the tag titles. Hour number 2. That's right, we're already at hour number 2. Begins with, but thanks, Rock and Roman. Hour number 2. No, but I didn't mind it at all, guys. I'll take a long-ass promo, tell a story. It's more entertaining than just seeing match. It truly is. I remember last year around this time, they did like a 3-segment promo with Sami Zayn and the Bloodline. Of course, that was much more captivating. My point is, it popped a rating. Fans were interested. Fans were into it. So I don't mind these long-ass promos. I do wish there was more substance to The Rock and the Bloodline for the first 3 segments, but I don't mind these at all. But because of that, Tiffy Time and Naomi probably got a minute or 2 chopped off, and then we were instantly into hour number 2, which we continued with the females. This was Bayley and Dakota Kai versus Kabuki Warriors. So basically the Damage Control implosion officially tonight, or about a little over an hour ago. Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kari, have Io, the world champion, the women's champion, in their corner. And Bayley is just hoping that Dakota Kai, her tag team partner, is literally in her corner. Because you could tell Bayley has a little bit of doubt. And for good reason, by the way. Dakota turns her back on Bayley for the ultimate betrayal in the middle of this match. Bayley goes for the tag. Dakota jumps off the apron. The look on Bayley's face says it all. Damn it. I knew it. It was that look of why did I trust you? I knew it. And then she gets up and she throws some haymakers. She tries to take out both Kabuki warriors, Asuka and Kairi, just to fend them off enough to lawn dart herself to the outside so that she could brawl with the one she really wanted to get her hands on, Dakota Kai. And that's what she did. And the brawl was on. Fans were on their feet, really enjoying it. This was very well done. The numbers game would prevail, and Bayley would subsequently be laid out. And Damage CTRL would celebrate afterwards. So this was all well done. This was the segment that was desperately needed for this matchup at Mania. Bayley versus Io. And if you're going to tell the Damage CTRL implosion storyline, then it has to truly implode. In a good way. Intriguing. Have some plot twists involved. Dakota Kai was used perfectly for this. I had my reservations at first a couple weeks ago when they were bringing in Dakota. I'm like, what are we doing, man? Do they even know what they're doing? 2 weeks ago, I firmly believe they didn't at that time. But at least this went off without a hitch. This is a very good way to propel them to next week. I just hope they keep that momentum going, because this is the type of work we should be getting creatively with Bayley and Io. And then as we get closer to Mania, really turn up the heat between Io and Bayley specifically. But Dakota Kai did officially make that turn on Bayley. She is team Damage CTRL through and through. Braun Breaker was up next. Braun Breaker defeats Zion Quincy, I believe is the name, in 2.1 nanoseconds, approximately, via the spear. So Braun Breaker, literally, the bell rings, maybe 2.1 nanoseconds. Match is over. Spear. So, great. Another dude with a spear. Edge is gone. Brock Lesnar's on the shelf. But we still have Roman Reigns. We still have Bob Lashley. Even Jey Uso is delivering spears left and right, taking people out. Jey Uso is spearing people out of their wrestling boots. At what point do we have to calm everything down? Too many people are doing spears, guys. It's gotta stop. It no longer is gonna have meaning or substance behind it. It's just ridiculous, man. The Usos are my favorite tag team in existence, but Jay doing the spear, it's not only not believable, but when you need to send somebody up or bring somebody up to the main roster who also is going to be using the spear with Bobby Lashley, Roman Reigns, and so many others, maybe Jay has to kind of calm down on that. We get it. Your cousin Roman does it. Roman's a bit of a bigger dude, though. You know, it's a bit more believable. There's more velocity there. There's more power structure. Either way, now we have Braun Breaker, and he's defeating people in nanoseconds via this spear. So it's clear we have another Goldberg on our hands. They're going to really try to... They have to book him like this because they already ruined this dude. This dude should have been called up a year ago, guys, from NXT. They kept him down there too long. They put him on a losing streak. This is a true story. They put him on a losing streak, and he is currently in a tag team with Baron Corbin. So for those that don't follow along with the NXT brand, he's in a tag team right now. Just won the championships, actually, the tag team titles with Baron Corbin. So if you were wondering if Baron Corbin is gone out of WWE, no. He went down to NXT, and they put Braun Breaker with him. I mean, that's what I mean. He was down there way too long, and for all intents and purposes, they ruined this dude. So now they're like, well, let's just give him the Goldberg treatment. We'll see how that works out for him. Then we go to Carlito versus Santos Escobar. This was a street fight. We just saw this match a few weeks ago, right? January 26th, if I recall. Like right at the end of January, it's the first day in March. So a few weeks ago, we just saw the same exact match. So what Paul McMahon is now doing is he's just slapping street fight on all of these rematches, right? It's like covering a hole in the wall with a coat of paint, right? Yes, it's a rematch, but now it's a street fight. And there's never a street involved. There's not even a parking lot involved, not even a backstage involved. Right? Usually it's a table, maybe a trash can or a steel chair, maybe a kendo stick, right? It's never a street fight. But we just saw this by Paul McMahon on Monday night. It was Imperium versus the New Day. We've been seeing this match 4 times already in the last 4 months. So that was like the 5th time we've seen this match. So they decided to call it a street fight on Monday night. And here we are on Friday. We know we just saw this match a few weeks ago. So they're like, but you didn't see them in a street fight. You didn't see them hitting each other with a kendo stick. So just I see what Paul McMahon's doing now. LDF and LWO would get involved. A returning Rey Mysterio takes out all of LDF. And it was cool. He came out with the crutches, made them think that he was hobbled, so they were laughing at him. And then he was like, oops, look at me. I can walk. It's a miracle. And he starts whacking everybody with the crutches. And he capped off the onslaught with a 619 to Escobar. Then Carlito hits Santos with the devastating spitting apple to the face maneuver. Apple spritzed all into the face of Escobar, and then Escobar is subsequently placed into the table. And I do mean placed. Carlito did not get any height on it, and he pretty much just like placed him into the table, which broke for the pinfall victory. But Santos's left shoulder was completely off the mat, so he wasn't really pinned. I don't even think that's for storyline purposes. He had his shoulder completely up, and the referee didn't care because that was supposed to end the match anyway. So like, we're going home. So it was a little bit of a messy finish, but it was good to see Rey Mysterio. Always good to see Carlito out there picking up a W. And Rey Mysterio Santos looks like it's going to be for Mania, but knowing Levesque McMahon, he's probably going to put this in the middle of a Smackdown. I mean, guys, this is an announced match for next week. You guys ready for this? Karrion Kross versus Bob Lashley. Now, this has been a feud for a couple of months now. Has it been perfect? Or what it should have been, this feud between Karrion Kross, his clique, and Bob Lashley and the Street Profits? Of course not. It has not been perfect. Has not been what it should have been. But it's still a feud that needs to culminate somehow at WrestleMania. And instead, you're just getting Karrion and Bobby, middle of SmackDown next week. So by the time you get to Mania, I wouldn't put it past them. They do some stupid 8-man tag or 6-man tag. Karrion and AOP versus Street Profits and Bobby Lashley. A match that is SmackDown at best. And they're going to put that at WrestleMania. I'd rather see Karrion Kross, Bobby Lashley, with all the story behind it. And that match is the culminating moment at WrestleMania. Instead, they're just taking Karrion and Bobby, they're throwing them in there next week. This is what Paul Levesque McMahon does. Long-term storytelling is not Levesque McMahon's strong suit. He doesn't know how to do it. Paul Levesque McMahon has shown you how he books Raw and SmackDown in short little spurts. Awkward, man. So I wouldn't put it past Escobar and Rey to have their rematch just on SmackDown again, because it would be a rematch from a rematch, by the way. So does it really matter? And then the main event, Randy Orton versus Austin Theory. Orton defeats Theory via pinfall off the RKO, as I said in the cold open teaser. The whole teaser was dedicated just to that RKO. And BC has to just put a whole nother level of respect on that maneuver because it is so damn good. And props to Theory, by the way, to sell it like he did, man. Rolled into the ring, catapulted himself, and Randy did the rest. He read it beautifully, got in position, wrapped around the head. Boom! Randy Orton does what he does. And Theory was looking up at the lights. 1, 2, 3. Post-match, KO stuns Theory, because KO was at commentary, by the way. So Waller came in post-match, took out Orton. So KO got in the ring. KO stunned Theory. He went to stun Waller, but Waller escaped, but turned right into an RKO. So Orton actually RKO'd both Theory and Waller. And Theory just ate a stunner simultaneously. So Theory totally just got messed up. But Waller, for his efforts, he also got tossed out. So the show ends with Randy Orton posing and Kevin Owens just kind of behind him. You know, playing the second wheel, but still a hot finish because the crowd was really behind Randy Orton. And that's how the show ends. 5 weeks away from WrestleMania. Or at least by the time you guys see this, less than 5 weeks now from the Hall of Fame. You guys know I've been keeping a little bit of a tracker on the Hall of Fame news or any information. Still nothing. By the time our next show comes around, Monday Night Raw, we will be headed toward just 4 weeks to WrestleMania. Not even one name has been announced for the Hall of Fame. All right, it's late. I'm not going to keep you guys. Go crush out the rest of your weekends. We'll do this all again, man. Lots of content to come next week. Stay right here on the channel. Do all the buttons down below, the notifications, subscriptions, all of that good stuff. Smash that up. I greatly appreciate it. Until next time, and there will be that next time. Top guys, we are out. BC saying check you. Peace.